evening, and thank you for joining us here at Frank Talks. Now, news is being reported across the country concerning the start of the trial of the alleged assailants in the case of the murder of rapper Bahar Jackson at age 20, but better known as Pop Smoke. Now, while there are some issues concerning the plea deal of one of the suspects, there is an even bigger question looming within the Black community. And listen, you don't want to miss what exactly this question is. Let's get into it after this. Thank you for tuning in to Frank Talks this evening. As highlighted at the beginning of our broadcast, the news about the breakdown of the plea deal in the case of the murder of the rapper Pop Smoke has ignited conversations about not only our criminal justice system, but the sentiments of the Black community when one of its own is deleted by one of its own. Let me say that again. When one of its own is deleted by one of its own. And this is commonly known as Black on Black crime. Now, the question is a very simple one, and this report hones in on this very subject in why is Black America silent about the demise of rapper Pop Smoke? Now, numerous individuals might posit that the inquiry arises due to Pop Smoke's fame. Contrary to this assumption, the significance of his fame lies in his potential to illuminate a prevalent sentiment within our community. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this sentiment is very prevalent in our community. And it is that it also underscores the accusations of hypocrisy leveled against those external to our community regarding the erasure of individuals resembling us by individuals of our own ethnicity. Now, the question is, do Black lives matter when we commit crimes against ourselves versus at the hands of the police? Now, many would find it concerning to learn that the defendant, in this case, 23-year-old Corey Walker, purportedly enlisted 3 juveniles to carry out a robbery on Pop Smoke. Now, during this fatal incident, it is noted that the 3 individuals wearing ski masks forcibly entered the residence and confronted Pop Smoke while he was showering. Now, reportedly, a 15-year-old boy pistol whipped and fatally shot the young rapper 3 times in the head. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is worth noting that Pop Smoke was only 20 years old at the time of this tragic. I think my producer is going to pull up this video right now. Let's watch. Ladies and gentlemen, a tragedy indeed. Now, detectives utilize wiretapping technology to intercept communication from Walker's phone, unveiling, watch this, his involvement in additional robberies. Additionally, it is pertinent to highlight the allegations suggesting that Pop Smoke inadvertently revealed crucial information during a live broadcast, potentially aiding the perpetrators and targeting him. Let's watch.
Wait. Mike and Mary. Billie Jean. Good looks, Mike and Mary. Gifts. Hold on.
Now, I don't know if you guys caught that, but inadvertently, Pop Smoke showed the address where he resided. And who would think that something as innocent as this would provoke others to commit a crime? Now, as my late mother used to say, locks would deter people with a conscience, but for a robber or a thief, it's an invitation. Now, meanwhile, the individual believed to be responsible for the tragic death of Pop Smoke has purportedly been released from juvenile detention following his apparent 21st birthday. Now, this individual, now 21 years old, was reportedly one of the 3 juveniles implicated in the incident. Initially identified as the 15-year-old shooter, he confessed in May 2023 to the shooting of the rapper. Now, according to a source cited in Rolling Stone, a second juvenile who was 16 at the time resolved his case and was also confined in a juvenile detention facility. The third individual, aged 17 at the time, admitted to charges of voluntary manslaughter and home invasion robbery during an April 2023 hearing. But listen to this. All of these juveniles were initially expected to remain incarcerated until the age of 25. Now, these events mark significant developments in the legal proceedings surrounding Pop Smoke's untimely passing. Now, this particular rapper, Envy Kane, celebrated the release of this 21-year-old from prison on Instagram by sharing images of the convicted felon out of jail. Now, Kane, who posted about the suspect's release, was among several unidentified teenagers detained in connection with the 2020 murder case. Now listen, while I comprehend Envy Kane's inclination to commemorate his friend's release, hear me close, guys. The expeditious manner in which he was freed following a serious offense remains, in my opinion, perplexing. Although acknowledging his status as a minor during this incident, which led to his trial as a juvenile rather than as an adult, the leniency shown may not, in my opinion, effectively deter the individual from engaging in similar behavior in the future. Now, the individual identified as the recently freed convicted felon applauded by Envy Kane is purportedly another rapper known as King Vermont. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we normally would not show this photo, but following his release, King Vermont shared celebratory remarks on Instagram. So he shared this. Now, it is surprising that someone accused of such a serious offense would boldly post on social media amidst ongoing legal proceedings, highlighting the lengths some individuals may go to seek attention in today's social media-driven culture. As it has been said numerous times, some people will do almost anything for clout. Nevertheless, I ponder the transformation of our community into its current state. In the past, Individuals used to feel shame or embarrassment upon simply being incarcerated, just going to jail. You would be embarrassed. However, in such contemporary times, such experiences seem to bestow street credibility, a quality revered by the younger generation. Yet this newfound value, this street credibility, in my humble opinion, is akin to attempting to use a McDonald's gift card at Ruth's Chris. Ultimately, it's unrecognized and unequal. Now, one may consider whether the prevailing culture has steered us off course, impacting not only our perceived value externally, but also our self-perception. How can we arrest this trend and safeguard our reputation within and beyond the Black community? Well, in the wake of this trial, the woman who witnessed Pop Smoke's murder calls seeing him killed the worst night of my life. So here, on the 4th anniversary of his murder, Amelia Rose, that is, recalls the time she spent with Pop in the final moments of his life. Now, she refers to the traumatic evening as the worst night, again, of her life. Let's watch.
What happened when you guys got back to the house?
Pop said he was going to upstairs. I'm sitting on the bed and I'm starting to take off my clothes. And he said, okay, I will come back. And he was going to restroom. So this was his last words. And this moment, it was like a couple seconds. And I hear the noise. The guy was in the mask, and his gun was like, look at me, you know? His eyes make me so scared. They ran to the restroom, full steam.
Take me through what happened.
Now, you've heard what Amelia Rose had to say in that video clip. In addition, she posted this to her Instagram, as it shows here. And it reads, and I quote, "We didn't know each other at all, but it was you who changed my life. I never thought that I would become a witness to a murder and someone's death. February 19th, 2020, the worst night of my life. I will never forget your smile when you turned on the movie Hitch. I will never forget how scared we were that night when we looked into each other's eyes and realized that we were about to be killed. I remember what I thought at that moment. Am I really going to die? And my mother will never see me again. God gave me a second chance. That's 4 years of depression. 4 years were so hard. But I thank God for life. I will never forget you. You will forever be in my heart. Rest in peace at Real Pop Smoke." Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you. However, I frequently contemplate whether during the excitement of a loved one's release from incarceration, if we ever pause to acknowledge the victims and their families. It is my conviction that this consideration could significantly influence our actions. Because in my humble opinion, and it is the opinion of many, I believe, it is evident that within Black America, there is a strong affinity for symbolic gestures, such as hashtags, roadside memorials, commemorative t-shirts. We all do those things, and I'm not knocking those things. However, as legal proceedings unfold and trials commence, there appears to be a noticeable absence of empathy for the victim or victim's family within our community. Why has there been a lack of outcry from the African American community regarding this tragic loss of artists like Pop Smoke and others that may not be famous or have any level of fame or fortune that are similar to him? Now, it could be argued that the silence stems from the uncomfortable realization that in cases where both the victim and the perpetrator are Black, introspection is necessary. Let me say that again. In cases where both the victim and the perpetrator are Black, introspection, that is, looking into the mirror, is applicable here. Now, this introspective process involves acknowledging, first of all, personal responsibility for improvement rather than solely attributing blame, pointing the finger to external factors. Now, listen, guys. Recently, I commemorated a milestone birthday. Now, contemplating how to mark this occasion, I reflected while getting ready for work, a routine that often includes an occasional glance in the mirror. Now, during this particular moment of self-assessment, I recognized certain areas that warranted improvement. Now, though my initial inclination was to attribute these flaws to external factors, I acknowledged that the impetus for change didn't lie within anyone else, but it lay within myself. Now, understanding that rectifying these aspects required self-reflection and diligent effort, I embarked on a renewed fitness journey. In other words, I simply decided I wanted to begin again. And you know what? That is what Black America needs to do. I know Trump says, "Make America great again," but I believe Black America needs simply to begin again. If a scenario involving the unfortunate demise of Pop Smoke, listen to me, guys, were to occur at the hands of a white police officer, it is likely that such an event would attract significantly more support from the Black American community. Now, the reason behind this increased support stems from the ease with which blame could be directed toward law enforcement's treatment of Black people. Now, in such a context, it would be justifiable to advocate for enhanced policing practices, particularly concerning the use of force in interactions involving Black individuals. Now, while I align with the notion of advocating for such measures in that specific circumstance, it is essential to maintain consistency in our actions. We cannot simply argue and cry aloud when it comes to a white officer deleting a Black person, but we must do the same when it is one of our own. We must not only vocalize concerns, again, when law enforcement is involved, but also hold ourselves accountable and address internal issues with equal commitment. Now, guys, in researching this story, I stumbled upon a comment. This comment here by Muhammad Ahmed 276473, it struck the right tone in my humble opinion, as it speaks to the thought that many believe to be true as it pertains to Black on Black crime. And it says here, "Bro, you killed a good man. He wanted everything you want." Now listen, I don't know if you received that or not, but I implore every young Black man and every young Black woman to contemplate this before deciding to take another person's life. Rather than resorting to violence, I earnestly hope and pray that you recognize the intrinsic value of preserving their existence. Failure to address this issue adequately will perpetuate similar occurrences, unfortunately, in the future. Wow. We have to do better. Again, listen, guys, in the words of Issa Rae, I'm rooting for everybody Black. Good night, and thank you for having this honest and frank talk. See you next time.